So between loads, sometimes things can get a little busy. But having got delivered, sitting over here in Sioux Falls, bobtailed. Been having a little bit of a problem with my water and fuel sensor, and so we had to replace that yesterday. So probably ought to throw that out, but hey, I'll show you what I did. Things been getting weird. It gets a little colder. It likes to sit right here on hot days. It likes to sit right here, but if I fill it up all the way here, it'll be back here by the end of the day. These trucks have personalities, so you just leave them alone and let them do their thing. All right. So this sensor under here went bad. So when I did that, I also changed out the filter too. I didn't have a magic marker, but I'm going to be changing that and here soon when I do my full service anyway, so I didn't worry about it. Sensor itself took 5 minutes. Where'd my key go? Oh yeah. Draining everything out, make sure I had all the tools near me. That took a while. Diesel fuel is some slippery stuff. So if you're gonna do it, go down to a truck shop, buy yourself a pack of these. They're about 20 bucks for that. I got a discount through my work, so they were considerably less. So another advantage of being tied into good people. So when you're between loads, it's usually a pretty good time to just check over all your stuff and see if anything needs fixed. Check your maintenance and all that. Still no milkshake. So one thing I worry about, I think I got an EGR that's starting to give me just the tiniest bits of trouble. But something you got to keep an eye on. And when I get my service done, I'll have to plug a computer in and see what it tells you. So, but I know it's not the oil cooler because this is staying clean, and I know it's not the caps because I'm getting no antifreeze in my return. So those are just something. If you get a bunch of antifreeze in your Davco filter, that means either your caps are going out or you've got a leak in your tanks if you got tank heaters. So yep. But this is also a good time to do a little bit of a walk around, you know. And thankfully nobody's tried to steal my mud flaps lately, so that's good. I don't like that. Nah, they'll be all right. Now, the reason I hit them rather than put the air check on them is simple. These Schrader valves will stick in a minute and create all sorts of havoc. So you kind of have to. Now, if it feels a little low and all that, then check it. But if it sounds like all the other ones, don't even worry about it. But it is good to check your tires, you know, basically once a week, as a general rule. But if you got one that keeps going low, you probably want to get it fixed. They're really cracking down on stuff like that with all that infrared and heat technology. They can spot it coming into a scale. Something to keep an eye on. Oh, so let's get into the truck here. So as we go to something that you want to tell your dispatch right off the bat, it's what I got left on my 70, but it's what I got left for 2 days. So then I go down here. Whoops, reel up. So I'm picking up tonight at midnight, that, and then that. Right now, there is absolutely no reason to get a restart. It looks like there's not, but I'll tell you what, 70 hours is 70 hours. And if you can make that work, because let me show you this. In 4 days we got that, but then we pick up that. Doesn't sound like much, but I'll tell you this. If you can get 2 good days in a short day, you can overcome that, have a decent day, and then be back for that 11-hour day. Now, don't get me wrong, you're probably going to want to do a restart, or at least sit a day somewhere within the next 5 or 6 days. But these aren't bad hours. You can work with these. So I've talked about that before, but if you can roll about a few hours over each day, you can overcome that 6-hour day pretty easily. And I'll be watching that. So now that we've got everything down, I've already called into dispatch. I've got my hours all down. I've got basically most of my preliminary stuff done. So now I've got to sit here and hopefully within the next, within the next hour, I'll go. I've already gone and taken a shower. I'm not showing you that because nobody needs to see that. And then I didn't even want to see that, but I had to be there. Then I'll just end up probably either having to go get a trailer at the yard, or I'm going to end up picking up something that's dropped here in town. So we need to figure that out, and we'll just go from there. But the truck's ready to go. So allegedly. So I got the phone call. Got the bobtail fired up, boogied on out of the Loves and headed through town over to the terminal. Had to go pick up an empty there. Stopped, got my DEF fluid. We get it in bulk and it's cheaper there, so I top off my DEF. And then once that's done, I boogie on over to the empties and grab one, and it's time to go. So, got the trailer, got over, got the load picked up, got fueled up. You've seen me do that 1,000 times. And with this load, going back to Mississippi. Shocker, I know. So let's get down there, and then once we get to the customer, we'll see what starts happening then. So, because the end of the load means the beginning of the next load, but before the next load's ended, you got to start doing a little bit of prep work. Well, on a bright note, all my check engine lights are out, so I got that going for me. And it's back. Well, we just filled up. We're over here in Bloomsdale, Missouri. One of the things that you have to look at when you're trying to figure out what you're doing, where you're going, especially after the load, is where am I going to be at? If you don't know where you're going, you might want to make sure you got enough fuel to get there. Top off the truck, drop off the trailer. So in preparation for being empty, you don't know where you're going. So a lot of times it's good just to put a little extra fuel on, because like where I'm going, if I'm going where I think I'm going, there's not going to be any fuel for quite a bit. So you just need to make sure you got enough if you got to idle or anything like that, or what, because the last thing you want is to be trying to find local fuel and paying pump price for that, because that's a mess. And yeah, so we are 3.5 hours out. We got the fuel, got the snacks. We're preparing for either we're going to take off as soon as we're empty, or we might have to sit till the next morning. After the load, sometimes it gets a little, you just never know. So in not knowing, you just kind of prepare for the worst and hope for the best. So, like I said, got the fuel, we're topped off, check engine lights back on, reefer's topped off, everything's golden. So, all right. So it's a couple hours later, back here, parked, waiting to unload. At our usual place here in New Albany, Mississippi. So one of the good things about being here is they have a trailer washout. And these reefers, you're going to need to from time to time. It's a frozen load, so everything should be okay. But you never know. You might have to go to a customer who wants it washed out when you get to it. That's fine. And it's right next door, so we've kind of cleaned up. But also, if you have some product that has to get thrown out, or some extra stuff that's gonna have to get donated or whatnot, these guys will help you. So it's just one of those weird things that works. So yeah. So anyhow, I'm gonna catch you guys tomorrow when we get to the customer, and now I'm gonna go take an old man nap. So I'm backed in the dock door here, and had a few developments. Sitting there waiting on them to get me unloaded. Yay, red light. It'll scare you if it stays green for a long time and then suddenly it goes red and then suddenly it goes green. That's always a source of consternation there. So we've already made all our calls, all our checks, but what we got to do with this is I have to take this trailer to a furniture place about 35 miles from here, drop it in a door, make sure it's clean, drop it in a door. I have to bobtail back up to another furniture place, pick up a loaded trailer, and start heading back to Wisconsin. So I'm getting all my preliminaries for my next load ready on my downtime. We should be empty here hopefully in an hour or two, and hopefully this Hirschbach truck doesn't back into me, because, well, what do you expect? Anyhow, so one of the things we need to do as soon as we're empty is, we don't need to fuel it up, thankfully, but we need to go over the trailer, make sure it's empty, and then decide if we need to wash it or not, or just blow it out with a leaf blower. It's a hard call, but if I don't have to spend 50 bucks, which I get reimbursed for, but if I don't have to spend 50 bucks, I'm not gonna do it. So hopefully we'll be empty here soon. So we just got our text saying that our trailer's empty, to start making my way up, even though they say they'll call you. I'm all the way at the end, and I've got to use the can. But we'll get our paperwork now, and we'll see what we need to do with the trailer for the next load. Now we just got our paperwork, so before we turn the reefer off, we need to pull the trailer out to make sure that it's empty. They said on the paperwork it should be empty. No lost, shorts rejected, nothing like that. But we need to never shut the reefer off until you're absolutely, positively sure you're empty. So let's get hooked up. Oh, alley-oop. Come on, you. There we are. So we got that hooked up. Let's get this cranked and that moved. Here we go. Somebody at Walmart had the genius idea to install backup cameras to watch the lanes. That's probably the most cost-effective thing I've ever seen. Have one on each door. Works great. And since they're off the shelf, they can replace them like that. All right. Pull very slowly out of my spot. So let's just pull this pin while we're here. That works. And there's not even any real need to climb in here. This looks really good, so we can just blow that out in the morning when it's dry with my air blower. Now let me get this thing slid, get out of the gate, back to the truck stop, and we can finish this thing up. So we
boogied on out of there, and just took a couple of minutes. Took longer to get out of the gate than anything, but got out of the gate, headed on over to the truck stop, which was literally right next door, and it just easy peasy. Can't beat it. So we're back here at the truck stop. Gonna just spend the night here. Get up really early in the morning, go down, start working probably 3:34 in the morning. Just easier to get through there and get down there in the morning before everybody wakes up. Any of you in central Mississippi, or well, I guess central eastern Mississippi, who've ever been down to New Holka, know that it's just easier when nobody's around. It's south of Ecru, or Pontotoc, I mean. Anyhow, well, both, really. We got over here. But you're kind of wondering why this video is so fractured between the loads. You know, I'm doing a video about what to do between loads. Well, I'm talking about between this load and that load, so I've got two periods. Well, one of the things about it is, on the last load, between the last two loads, I was getting ready for this next load. See, I didn't know what it was going to be. So I'm still sitting there monitoring my hours, making sure my fuel's ready to go. Telling dispatch the hours that I have before I took the last load, figuring out what we can do, where we can go, and how we can do it. It's just staying prepared and ready. You know, the load itself, yeah, I mean, it works, but at the same time, it's prep work. That's all it is. So you're not thinking one load ahead, you're thinking two. You may not know what the second load is going to be after the one you're on, but I tell you what, you better start getting ready for it. And by getting ready for it is, like I said, with the fuel, or, you know, figuring out which way I'm going, where I'm going, my routing and all that. Calling up dispatch, you know, a day early, getting on the board. And like I called the customer where I'm going tomorrow, you know, making sure the gates are going to be open when I get there, and which door he wants that trailer dropped in. I'll tell you right now, you do little things like that when they're not around and they just come to work and it's ready to be loaded. It makes their lives easier. It makes you guys' lives easier. And it's a good look for the company. And you're like, oh, well, company, blah, blah, blah. I'll tell you what, if you make the company look good, it may not do anything for you at the company, but I'll guarantee you it's going to go a long way with the customer. And the customer is going to remember that. And you show up again, he's going to remember you. I've had it happen multiple times. It's a real thing. So, oh man, it's been a long couple of days. You know, we got down here, we hustled down here because, well, I needed to get a reset. I got the hours I could do the next load, but then I'd be screwed on the next load. And I told the dispatch, I said, if it's pressing, I said, I'll take off right now. I'll get it down there. I'll have it all good to go. I said, but if it's not pressing, I'll be down there in the morning by the time they come to work. I'll have this trailer dropped. And he was fine with that. And everything was golden. It's all about prep work, guys. And believe it or not, little prep work like I'm talking about, like before this load, before that load, it'll make you money. It'll save you money. It'll get you prepared to where you can take off earlier, you can run more efficient, and things just will work. So, food for thought. Short little video, guys. I appreciate it. Thanks for watching. See you next video.